Am I the a-hole for no longer sending my dad money out of my paychecks because I've found out he moved a woman and her kids in with him? I, 20-year-old male, have been sending my dad money since I moved out a couple of years ago. To be even more honest, I was taking care of my dad and not the other way around. He spends all day watching TV and he's on disability, which is how we afforded things when I was growing up, but money was tight. We didn't have a lot, and I got good at finding ways to make food and money stretch for us. Even though I never made a ton of money, I did want to help my dad out, so I'd give him some money bi-weekly when I could, which was most of the time, and I helped him get groceries and stuff. In August, my dad was around less, and I thought he was maybe finally getting out a little. Then in October, I found out he was dating someone, and he moved her and her kids in, and they were all expecting me to send money and were all using it. I told Dad I knew, and he told me he didn't see why it was such a big deal. I told him I was taking care of him, my dad, not some strangers. He told me they're not strangers, and one day they will be my family. I told him I'm not supporting all of these people. He asked if I'd leave him struggling worse than before, and I told him that wasn't my problem. I said I took care of him because I loved him, but it was time he learned to stand on his own 2 feet, and I asked if he even cared whether I was doing okay or not, because expecting me to support someone else's family at 20 was insane. I told him there was going to be no more money. He won't stop asking for it and asking why I want to punish him for finding some happiness. I even got a text from someone I assume is his girlfriend where she called me a crappy son and family member and took offense to my attitude about dad finding love and being a good dad to more kids. I blocked that number because I didn't want to deal. The last time Dad called me, he wanted to figure out a way for me to send money again, and his girlfriend was yelling that she wanted to talk to me, but I made it clear I was hanging up if she took over. I told him there were 2 adults now and they could figure it out, because I'm done. My dad said I was abandoning him, and it hurt because he wanted me to be happy for him and help him like the good son I have always been. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. One or both need to get a job. I'm guessing they're both complete bums though. A gold digger by proxy. Now I've seen everything. If you have someone move in with you, they should make your life easier, not harder. She should have a job and say, with your disability and my pay, we can make this work. Not demand OP keep sending money to take care of all of them. She is absolutely a bum. They both are. OP let them figure it out on their own. They're both adults. They'll be fine. And it's not your responsibility to take care of 2 grown adults. Go be 20 for once and have fun. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. How was she surviving before she met your dad? Save that money. When she drains him out, you will have to keep him afloat. I wondered that too. I know my dad relied heavily on me, but I asked myself what she did. Not my problem though, and if that no longer works because she's with my dad, she should put her kids first and go back to providing for them. His girlfriend is a bigger leech than your father. How sad she's trying to strong-arm someone else's kid to fund her and her spawnage. Not the a-hole. Take that money and put in a savings account. Worry about your own future, not that of 2 lazy bums. Not the a-hole. And who the entire hell does this woman think she is? That was my attitude with her last text especially. It was really strange considering we never actually met. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my parents who'll make sure I have an amazing Christmas if all my money goes to my siblings? My parents have me, 17 male, my brother, 12 male, and my sister, 7 female. My parents always told me I ruined their college experience, and I was the reason they needed to drop out and be serious adults. My brother wasn't even born yet when they first shared that info with me. My mom was heavily pregnant the first time I remember feeling their resentment. I always got less love, attention, and money spent on me because of that. My siblings were in activities from really young ages. I never did anything outside of school except for working. My jobs were babysitting from the age of 12 and then getting a part-time job at 16 at a local store. But I never got to learn an instrument, or play a sport, or join any kids' clubs like my siblings. Every Christmas and birthday I got some clothes as gifts, while my siblings got toys and video games. When I started high school, the clothes even stopped, and I wouldn't get anything. They never made excuses for it when I asked. They probably expected me to know it's because they resented me. I'm not close to either of my siblings. They're not close to me or each other either, and I admit I resent them. I know it's not their fault, but I have a countdown to leave home at 18 and to go no contact, and that's going to include my siblings. This year, my dad lost his job, got a new job making less, and then my mom lost her job and became disabled. My parents sold some things, including some of the consoles and their own stuff, to pay bills and buy groceries. My siblings didn't get much for their birthdays this year, and as of December 12th, my parents don't have gifts for my siblings for Christmas either. My parents told me they wouldn't be able to afford anything, and that they know I have money somewhere, and I should make sure they have an amazing Christmas this year. They said my siblings deserve that, after everything that's happened this year. I asked my parents who'll make sure I have an amazing Christmas if all my money goes on my siblings. I asked them when I ever got to have an amazing Christmas. They told me it wasn't about me, and I know the reason they didn't treat me the same, and that it shouldn't be a reason for my siblings to lose out all year. I said they needed to find someone who wanted to help because I don't, and I'm not spending anything on my siblings. I said my money is mine, and it'll get me out of everyone's hair in a few months, and they can forget about the kid who ruined their lives. They told me I can't be mad at them if I do the same thing to my siblings as they did to me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's their responsibility, not yours. They also have a responsibility to you. You have no responsibility for your siblings. Your parents do. Work on getting out of there. In case it's not perfectly clear, they also decided to be irresponsible when they were young, which led to your existence. You didn't ruin their lives. They made their own choices, and then tried to ruin your life. The good news is, you'll be an adult soon. I'd suggest no contact as soon as possible. No contact will come as soon as I move out. Then I'll never have to live like this again. Make sure your parents can't access your money. If they are on your bank account, they may just take it. If you have cash, you need to figure out how to secure it. Hiding it in your room isn't good either. They can't access my money. They used to be able to when I was babysitting because I stored it in my room. Now it's secure and they have no access to it. Not the a-hole. Do not give them a cent because the moment you do, they'll keep coming back for more. There will always be something they want you to pay for, and they'll keep trying to use your siblings against you. Although I hope you know this, I'm going to say it anyway. You did nothing to deserve being treated this way. You didn't ask to be born. They created you. My mom had me when she was your age and never once made me feel like this. You deserve so much better than this, and I'm so sorry this is what you have for parents. Thank you. There are days I know it, and other days I wonder if there was something so wrong with me. But I have a friend whose parents are even younger than my parents, and they love her so much and never made her feel like she ruined their lives. Not the a-hole. It is not your choice or fault to be born. It was your parents' decision to have more children and favor them over you. Hope you have a great 18th birthday and live your best life without their toxicity. Thank you. My 18th birthday will be Freedom Day, and then I won't have to live like this anymore. Next story. Am I the a-hole for canceling my wedding over the cost of it and other financial expectations? My fiancé, 27 female, and I, 35, have been together for 3.5 years and engaged for 6 months. I'm a simple guy and live very frugally. I own a modest house that's entirely paid off and do really well at my sales job. My fiancé and I recently started discussing wedding plans and financial expectations going forward, and that's when I realized we have totally different goals and views on things. Our first issue was what she wanted to spend on the wedding. First time we met to discuss things with a planner, I was blindsided, thinking this was a first meeting when it seems that my fiancé already has the entire thing planned in her mind and simply needed to go over cost. In all, the whole thing would cost about $35,000, and I personally think it's ridiculous to spend that amount on a wedding, especially when my fiancé makes barely more than that a year. After that meeting, we met later in the week to go over our finances because I thought that was important. I was shocked to know that she does not have any savings at all. She's got lots of credit card debt that she's making minimum payments on. When we went over my sides of things, she pointed out that it wouldn't change anything for me if I take the $35,000 out of my savings to pay for the wedding. I pointed out that my liquid savings is for emergency. I have it so that I can quit my job at any point and be able to maintain my lifestyle for at least 6 months without changing anything. The biggest issue came when she found out that I have been covering my brother's mortgage for a year and a half and plan on doing so for the next 6 months more. I explained to her why I was doing it. My brother paid for most of my college and recently went into a ton of debt because his daughter had a serious surgery that left them in a tons of debt. And my covering for his mortgage, about $1,700 for 2 years, was my birthday gift to him 2 years ago while they got back on their feet. She demanded that I stop helping my brother, and at that point, I told her between the crazy wedding cost and asking me to not help my brother, she and I were not compatible. My mother and sister have been telling me I'm not doing the right thing, and I need to find a middle ground with her. I feel like an a-hole. I feel like financial compatibility is extremely important, and I don't think she and I value the same things when it comes to money and family. Am I the a-hole for calling off the wedding and breaking up? Not the a-hole. You two are not compatible. You were right to call off the wedding. Thank you. You are smart in ending it, and hopefully you got the ring back. You are helping your family the same type of way he helped you with tuition, but that isn't the real deal breaker. The fact she lives at home, has very minimal expenses, and has 0 savings? She expects you to blow your saving for a big wedding. No way your safety net allows you to walk away from your sales job and land another without a big impact. Add to that her credit card debt. Once married, it's your debt too. Not compatible, and you found out before it's too late. Not the a-hole. But how did you get 3.5 years into this relationship without discussing finances? We've talked finance to some degree, but never in the details that I should have gone into. And I feel like an idiot now. But better now than after marriage. Not the a-hole. You really dodge a bullet. If she is not capable to save at least half, how will she be able to handle financial situations in your marriage, let alone helping family? I hope you're able to help your bro as much as you can. Thank you. I feel like my family think I'm some super old guy that need to marry anyone willing. I'm happy to wait it out. I feel like we'd have too many financial disagreements in our marriage. I honestly applaud you for having the maturity to realize this isn't a good fit. Finances are the #1 issue causing fights in a marriage, and you two are not compatible on that front at all. Your life would be filled with stress and misery. You're her insurance policy for paying off her debts, not the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for choosing other women over my cousin, even though she's my cousin? For 6 years, I, 28 male, lived with my favorite cousin Carly, 25 female. I covered almost everything: rent, utilities, groceries, while she paid $400 a month in a city where minimum rent is $2,200. I'm in a financially better situation, so this was never really an issue. Then one night, after I came home around 3 a.m. from a date, I found that Carly had thrown food all over my bed because I made her waste her time by not knowing she cooked for us. That was the moment I realized something was very wrong. First, I could save more by living on my own, but second, Carly was either insane or acting like a jealous girlfriend instead of a cousin. When our lease ended, I tried setting one small boundary that she would contribute a little more, $600 instead of $400, and that we move closer to my job. She refused to compromise on a single thing. Meanwhile, my now girlfriend also wanted to move in, and Carly said this was non-negotiable and the girlfriend could not move in. So I made the choice that made sense, and my cousin moved back home with her parents, and my girlfriend moved in with me. My cousin went full no contact for months, until I later broke up with the girlfriend I was living with and reconnected with my high school sweetheart. Was it the best choice? No, but she was my first girlfriend, and we had previously dated for 7 years. She also happens to be Carly's ex-best friend. Suddenly, Carly came back around, not to talk, but to accuse me of choosing other women over her and betraying her. To be clear, she's my cousin, and I feel she's acting like I cheated on her. At this point, it's been a year, and we've only awkwardly seen each other at family gatherings. And my family has now suggested that if I want to continue going to these family gatherings, I shouldn't bring my current girlfriend because it upsets Carly. Am I the a-hole, or is this as bizarre as it feels? Should I accept the family's terms since it's her family too? Seems Carly has feelings for you and is having mental health problems. A cousin does not act this way. Family is not seeing the real picture since they don't want you to bring girlfriend because Carly will get upset. Good luck. To me, this read as a combination of that and her gravy train coming to an end. Yup, she might not want to have sex with OP, but she sure wants him to fulfill every other need, like cheap rent and paying for food and attention. Other women take that away from her. Emotional incest, I think, is what they call it. Not the a-hole, not in the least. I'd put in a family group chat. Carly, I'm not into incest unlike you, and apparently the rest of the family. Even if I were, you're not my type. Stop acting like a jealous girlfriend. Also, your act of spreading food all over my bed shortly before we no longer live together is the action of a toddler. Perhaps if you had actually informed me and my then-girlfriend that you planned to cook us all dinner on that night, your actions wouldn't have been the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, which is the catalyst for my choice to no longer live with you again. As it stands, you need to both proverbially grow up and act like the adult you are now supposed to be, as well as get yourself some mental help to fix your unhealthy obsession with me and move on with your life. On a side note, OP, did you ever tell your family precisely what she did regarding the food on your bed, or any of her actions that are those of a jealous girlfriend and not a cousin? If your family has only heard her version, they may not be aware of just how bad her obsession is. Although in that vein, she already got her narrative out there, and so they're more likely to believe her over you regardless. To be honest, I'd tell your family that you're sad you will miss seeing them at the family gatherings, but you will not be going to any event that Carly will be attending, with or without a significant other, until she gets the help she clearly needs, and stops behaving like a spoiled toddler, throwing a temper tantrum, compared to the adult she's supposed to be. Also, make it clear that if they assure you she won't be there, and she is supposedly suddenly there or she shows up after you arrive, you will be turning around and leaving immediately. Make it clear that you don't care whether you are mid-meal, mid-convo, mid-activity, or anything else. The moment you know she is on the way or there, you're gone. My other cousins are aware of the infamous food in bed incident, LOL. Most of them seem to be trying to keep the peace, so while they don't agree with it, they've tried to make excuses. Once we stopped talking, I stopped bringing up things I thought to be weird. So you're probably correct in that she's had more opportunity to paint a narrative, or they are unaware of how weird it actually is.